Today's guest is none other than the Essex cricket head coach, and he's fresh from training ahead of a big game tomorrow against Warwickshire. Welcome to 98 Not Out, Mr. Anthony McGrath. Mags, how are you doing?
Very well, Darren. How are you?
Where you been? You've got a bit of a tan on there.
No, this is the best it gets for me. It's red rather than a tan. Even though it's been raining, there's been a bit of sun the last week or so. So yeah, it's got me on the face.
Yeah, my Yorkshire wife managed to get herself sunburnt out in the garden over the weekend. So,
Yeah.
so welcome along. Plenty to talk about. I would just like to start off by taking you back in time to 22nd of May 2003, and a momentous occasion for yourself at Lord's.
Yeah, a long time ago now. Well, it seems that anyway. But yeah, England debut. No place to better to do it than Lords. And yeah, I'm sure the next question I know you're going to ask is the same day as Jimmy Anderson.
That's right. That's right. Um, what is it like? What is it like? Tell me, as a you know a failed cricketer. What is it like to actually do that? To step out of Lords in an England shirt, be given your cap, and and stride across the turf and out to the middle. How do you feel? What does it make you feel like?
Yeah, I mean, anyone growing up, in this country, wants to play for England. If you're a cricketer, and that were my dream as a young boy, growing up in Bradford in Yorkshire. So I think I was 27 by the time I made my debut. So I'd been around quite a bit. Um, and yeah, when I got the phone call, as it was in them days, rather than all the internet stuff, um, it was about a week before I got a call that Northampton were playing there from I think it was David Graveney or Jeff Miller at the time, and yeah, said next week you're going to be playing at Lords. So it was just excitement from there, really, really excited to get down. Um, we travelled down with Michael Vaughan, who was it was a couple of games before he took over captain, and then yeah, family and friends wanted to come down and watch, and the English weather were nice for a change. It were a beautiful sunny few days. So yeah, a little bit surreal because that was your dream, and then just wanting to get into the game really, and some excited nerves, and as I said, no better place to make it than Lords. It's just so special, everything around any cricket game there, but a Test match for England, there's just that buzz of anticipation, and it's kind of the start of the English summer, the one in May.
You didn't have a bad game either, from what I remember.
Yeah, I managed to. I think I batted at seven. I came in, so yeah, I got a few runs, and I managed somehow to get a few wickets as well. So it must have been a bit of a lucky game for me.
Now, as you mentioned, someone else made their debut that very same day in that very same match. But I mean, I don't know what he's done. I mean, has he? How many county championships or Vitality Blast trophies has he won in that time? I mean,
Yeah, I lost track of him after he made his debut. I'm not sure what he went on to do. Um, but most years, I mean, particularly for the last probably 10 years now, when it gets to that week in May, the social media, various publications, or just on just random people, I think, always post that picture, particularly for Jimmy, about him still playing. And I normally get it. I'm not really on social media, but I normally get at least 15 to 20 from people I know, friends, and it's normally either with me cut out of the picture or half out of the picture. So it's quite funny. But no, joking apart, I mean, it's just incredible. I played a bit against Jimmy before he made his England debut. He was only young, but he was kind of this tearaway fast bowler from Burnley who bowled up near 90 mile an hour and swung it late. And then what he's gone on to achieve. He's had to remodel his action, and more than to play till you're that age in any form of cricket. Never mind being still the best in the world. England's best ever, in my opinion, is just phenomenal, really. defies logic in many ways for a fast bowler to keep going, keep the standards, and yeah, it absolutely incredible the standards, records, and longevity he's managed to achieve.
I think he's sort of a good example, and probably Sir Alistair is another one of how the game's changed, and those two would probably, for me, typify how all of a sudden cricketers who had never done so before, but all of a sudden were taking care of themselves and watching what they ate and exercising regularly and keeping in shape. Um, I think that's probably the key to both of them having such long careers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the game were kind of changing that mid 2000s anyway, and as you said, I've been lucky to work with Chef at Essex up until he retired, and he was actually the same. So I think you're absolutely right. But I think the one thing, particularly for them two, which stands them aside, is just their absolute drive to be the best and not be beaten at anything they do, whether that's fitness testing, in games, practice, games in the dressing room. I think they're very similar. They want to win at all costs. Jimmy can come across quite grumpy. But that's just his absolute desire to be the best and do the best for his team as well. And I think, I mentioned Alistair in the same breath. Them two have been incredible in both their careers.
Did you you would have played against Jimmy on the county circuit ahead of those England games? Could you sort of, when you were facing him for Yorkshire against Lancashire? I mean, that's always a tasty fixture anyway. But did you sort of get a sense of facing him that, oh, this guy's going to be something special?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was the year before. I think it was 2002. Um, we played him at Headingley. Myself and Darren Lehman batted against him, and he bowled bloody quick and swung it late. And from being in kind of cricket circles, who's going to be up and coming and got a chance. And he was always, talked about for that. And he was a young fast bowler, and he was kind of fast track, so you knew he was going to be in or around it. But I think how he's changed and kind of molded himself has been the most impressive throughout his career. Going, as I said originally, going from that quick bowler to wobble seam, reverse swing, economical, them kind of things is really impressive.
It's been an interesting. It's sort of like there's a cycle going on with England cricket. So the two guys we've mentioned, Sir Alistair Cook, Jimmy the latest, and of course Stuart Broad hung his boots up at the end of last season. So three of England's modern greats have all left within fairly quick succession. So it's kind of like a new chapter that's coming on, and that opens the door. I mean, people sort of think it's the end of the world, but it's not really. I mean, it never has been. I can think of other occasions where great players have decided to step away, and it's just opened the door for others who've come through. Um, there's a similar thing going on with Essex with the departure of Dan Lawrence as well as Cookie's retirement. I'll get onto that more in a minute, but just sticking with England, a couple of our bowlers from Essex have been mentioned, mainly on the back of their fantastic start to this season. Ports and Little Chef have been sort of highlighted. There's been a few names put around, but just going on stats for this season so far, these two have surely got to be in with a shout for getting the call up.
Yeah, I mean, both of them have probably not, I wouldn't say suffered, but because Jimmy and Brody have been so good and played for so long, I guess Ports and Cookie are similar in style of bowlers. Obviously, if they go on to achieve half what Brody and Jimmy did, they'd be doing well. But in terms of they're not blessed with 90-mile-an-hour pace, but what Jamie and Sam are both blessed with is high skill, repetition, and they get good players out with a new ball. So, Ports is slightly older. I think he's been unlucky not to have picked already. And Sam, since 2017, has just been, his numbers really are probably better than anyone's, and he's got wickets in all different conditions, so he can't do any more either. So the way they've started again. I mean, Jamie had a couple of seasons where he's had a few injuries and a couple of seasons that he wasn't at his highest standard, which can happen. But last year he was, and this year he started that way. And as I said about Sam, he's just been ultra consistent since he came in. So they're both now in the reckoning, without doubt, with Stuart and Jimmy retiring. But I think it's exciting generally because, as you say, in any sport, when the legends retire, they're that good for a reason. But no one takes the place, so you never know. So I think instead of, some people are saying it's going to be a big loss. Of course it is, but I think it's a real opportunity to look at the other bowlers now. And I think the good thing is there's a lot of bowlers who are going to step up who've got a lot of experience in county cricket, not yet in international cricket, but they're kind of battle hardened in them conditions. And I'm sure there's guys around the country waiting to step in.
Also worth noting the success that Sam had with the Kookaburra ball experiment at the start of the season, where nobody else was getting wickets, but he was having no problems.
Yeah, as I said, I've done interviews before about him. I've seen him get wickets, in April to September on slow pitches, nippers, Kookaburra ball, Duke's ball. He went to Sri Lanka with England A team, and I think one of the best bowlers on a flat pitch with the Kookaburras. So he can't do any more. I think he's quick enough. Definitely with other people and other nations who play international cricket. It's just a matter of getting a chance. And as I say, I've no doubt that if he gets in there, he'll do himself proud. And you always need a little bit of luck at that level of sport. But I think if he gets enough opportunities, he'll show what he can do.
Yeah, I think you mentioned 2017, and I would pinpoint the turnaround in Sam Cook's fortunes to me presenting him with the second 11 Player of the Year award at the Essex end of season dinner. And I think ever since then, he's just gone.
That's it. You've got it.
Now, turning more to the Essex and been blighted by injuries so far, unlucky ones as well. But as I bang on to anyone that will listen, that Essex has had this tradition, which goes back decades, of the conveyor belt of finding local talent and bringing players through the academy. So many players. I mean, a lot of them are born in the same hospital, aren't they? So,
Yeah.
given these injuries, though, it's given the chance. Now, we said earlier about England, but it's the same with Essex that some of the youngsters are now being given a chance to show what they can do. I think Noah Fane is one name that I just start off with in terms of performance so far this season, but of course there are others.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, Paul Walter, having started really well, had a good winter, had an injury to his toe, and we've been trying to find, I think, since Ravi left and Ryan Tenderscarter, getting batters who can bowl seam because we've had batters who can bowl a lot of spin but no seam. It just balances the team. So we waltzed back bowling again. That was a big blow. But Noah has one we've been getting along to training the last few years. He's played in the 50 overs. So everyone were delighted he got his chance. He had a good under-19s winter with England. And been very impressive. Without making a big score or a lot of wickets, he's come in some tricky times and done some crucial things. So it's great for him, great, as you mentioned, for the club, because we're trying to always find an opening for at least one or two young players in the team. So it's another example of the guys through the pathway and academy doing a great job.
Yeah, no, it's really pleasing to see, and I sort of urge anyone that goes anywhere near the county ground to go and have a look in the indoor school and look up at the academy honours board and just see some of the names that are on there who were there as youngsters, and you'd be absolutely shocked and amazed to see how this talent comes through. So we've got Warwickshire tomorrow. You've just announced the squad. They will be hurting on the back of a heavy loss to Surrey last weekend. Let's hope the weather plays kind. But how's it looking for the squad, and what's the feeling after training today?
Yeah, I mean, we've been indoors all week, which is not ideal, but I think we should be okay. There's maybe a little bit of forecast Saturday. But yeah, the pitch is fine, and it's a little bit damp on the outfield. But as I say, I think we should be okay. Michael Pepper comes back in, which is good news. Adam Rossiter's not quite fit yet. He should be okay for T20. Um, and Paul Walter's not quite right yet. We'll hopefully know more about him next week. But yeah, apart from that, we've got everyone else fit and available, which is good news. And yeah, just continue the start to the season, really. I mean, we've played some really good stuff. We've pretty much won most sessions we've played, apart from the Somerset game, which were a bit of an anomaly because of the wicket, really. It started wet, and I think, as you saw, it was over in 2 days. You needed to win the toss. In them type of games, yeah, you can't really read much into them because it's
No,
just
I'd
fast
agree.
forward cricket.
I'd
Yeah.
agree. I mean, another 20 runs and it might have been a different story, but yeah, I'd dismiss that in the bigger scheme of things. And as you just touched on there, the Blasters starting in a couple of weeks' time. How do you adjust the mindset of the players to the different format, having played red ball so far this season?
Yeah, it's always tough each year, and the players are used to it now. I think we've only 2 days before the end of Canterbury and playing, so we've already started actually in our week off to try and get some white ball in. The guys not playing the first team, the second team are actually playing a warm up game today. Lads have been hitting white balls and bowling white balls this morning in the indoor school. So Daniel Sams wasn't at the IPL this year, so he's been over for at least a week getting ready. So we're trying to do as much behind the scenes of, trying to get ahead of the curve a little bit. But it's going to be tough because there's going to be a lot of crossover. We haven't got the biggest squad compared to others. So you hit the nail on the head. It is mindset because you can't get enough prep going into them first games. You've got to try and catch up through the competition. So yeah, we'll meet the day after at Billericay and start prepping for 2 days later, really. But it'll be more about roles and let's remember what we've done well last couple of years and then kind of things really, and then try and start the comp and pick up our skills throughout it.
Well, you got to finals, the final last year, and no one that follows Essex cricket will remember the campaign of 2019, where we were all but out at the group stage, and depending on other results, which all seemed to come in, and then that incredible day at Edgbaston. So, never ever back against Essex cricket.
No, I mean 2019, as you say, was probably the most incredible chain of events ever. I think we were out with 4 games left, and we had to win every game, and other teams lose. But that's sport for you. But I think last couple of years, year before 22, we got to quarter final, and last year we played really, really well. We had a lot of injuries and went really close. Actually, Somerset, probably being the best team in terms of consistency, so they probably deserved it on the day. But we got close. We beat a good Hampshire team, and Samsey were going well in that final. So that can happen in T20. But I've been more pleased with how we've played since 2019, really, because 20 and 21 were terrible, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And then we've built up a new team, a younger team, and I think quite an exciting team, actually. Team who scored over 253 times and, have got variation with the ball. So, yeah, once we get these 2 championship games out of the way, which are important in the bigger scheme of the league, and then we're excitedly looking forward to T20 starting.
Yeah, I can't wait for those legendary Friday nights up at the county ground. And it is, I don't think there's anywhere else in the country, and I've been to T20s everywhere, and that quite matches that sort of tight, enthusiastic support that you get at Chelmsford. And I think it also, to me, just underlines the great relationship that the team has with the fans. It's hard to see many other places.
Yeah, it's something all the players look forward to when the fixtures come out, the Friday games, and we've got a few this year, which is good. But as you say, it's just unique, with towards the Duggin Soul Pavilion with seats on the outfield. That makes it even tighter and the atmosphere even better. And then it's everything crammed in, and it just seems like Friday work finishes, and everyone piles to the ground, and it's so much fun, really, and the players absolutely love Friday nights there, and yeah, we've managed to have a better record last couple of years. So I think if you're going to be competitive in T20, your home form's got to be really good. So yeah, we'll be wanting to keep the crowd cheering and get them on our side as they always are.
Well, Max, it's been a great start to the season. We've been playing a really enjoyable brand of cricket, both with bat and ball, and I hope sincerely it continues into the white ball part of the season. And look forward to seeing you and the boys raising some trophies at the end of the summer. And I'm sure you will have something to cheer about. It's been great talking to you. Many thanks.
Thanks, pleasure, anytime.